Knock Hill's weather brightened up for the Supersports race and the track was drying out. John McGuinness is still injured and won't ride the Castrol Honda. But Steve Brogan will. The young Liverpudlian has grabbed his chance with both hands.
Let's start off on a positive note. You've got Mr. Brogan in the team this week running the Supersports. He's a good and happening man, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's just ended up fourth in that session, and I think he's upped his game. And obviously putting him in this team, taking him away from his own team, which is BR Tyres, which have done a good job for him. Putting him here has given him a boost in confidence, and he's looking pretty handy with it.
Okay, he's looking pretty handy with it. Straight down to it then, John McGuinness, is he going to be able to come back to this team? Is there a place open for him if he decides to ride this year?
Yeah, of course he is. You heard what, like obviously he was on the 250 on the Vimto Honda team. He rode that, but like with his injury, he's not going to win that championship. He's not going to retain that championship, whatever, because he misses the next 2 or 3 meetings. So what we will do, we will wait now for John to come back fit and healthy and much lighter, and he will get on the 600 and race it for the last 2 or 3 meetings of the year, we hope.
Castrol Honda's championship challenger Kirk McCarthy suffered nightmares at Knock Hill. His 10th place qualifying position was a serious setback and he knew he'd plenty of work to do in the race. Series leader, and just to remind you, former Castrol Honda rider this year, Jim Moody was devastatingly quick on the V&M Yamaha. Who's going to stop the Scot? Already the lap record holder, Jim Moody's on pole, Dean Thomas on a D&E Ducati second, Glennie Richards on the First National Honda is in 3rd place, and Steve Brogan 4th. Howard Whitby, Chris Vermeulen, Stuart Wickens and another Scot, Ian Duffus, round out the front 2 rows. Row 3, it's Mark Heckles from Kirk McCarthy all the way back there with Luke Quigley and Tim Paul. Rob Frost, Dave Johnson, Andy Tinsley and Danny Beaumont are on row 4.
Well, the setup of the bike and the position on the grid is obviously crucial on a circuit like Knock Hill, and we're not too used to seeing this guy back on row 3. Kirk, obviously not very happy being back here.
No, not really. It'll be alright though, I guess.
What happened yesterday?
I always had a few problems with my spare bike, and I spent too much time trying to sort that out, and then the second session was wet, so basically missed out on having a good qualifying.
Well, you need a really good start. We wish you the best of luck. He's only trailing Jim Moody by 12 points in this championship, so he needs to really pull it out this time. We've got a really good Scottish contingent, as we have in every class. Ian Duffus there. He's got all his neighbours and friends and family watching today, so he'll want to perform really well. We've got another new face to the Super Sport class, standing in for the injured John McGuinness. It is, hello there Mr. Steve Brogan, how are you? It is a really good ride for you to get this, and obviously a very good qualifying position being here on the front row.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to hear what we've done so far this weekend in qualifying. The bike's been working really well, the team have worked really hard. We've worked so hard on the suspension this weekend to get it set up, and everything's just come together for me, so hopefully we can do it for the race.
We hope you can too. It would be good to see you up there on the podium, and good to see some new faces here. Well, of course, the crowd will be behind this guy, Mr. Jim Moody. He's leading the championship at the moment, and he's looking very determined there. Jim, are you happy with the setup of your bike, and you're happy with the situation?
Yeah, everything's good. Just I've got a bit of a wet patch ahead of me to get through in the first lap, but apart from that, I'll be okay.
Okay, well that is one determined guy, and I tell you what, he wants to keep the Super Sport Championships this side of the border.
This could be the best race of the day. It's the Supersports on pole. Jim Moody doing it for Scotland. Alongside him, the Australian Dean Thomas and another Australian Glenn Richards. Then it's Steve Brogan from Liverpool. Steve Brogan qualifying really well on the Castrol Honda, replacing John McGuinness in this race at the moment. So they come under starters orders. The red light's on now. Jim Moody looking for a flyer. He was absolutely electrifying on the opening warm-up lap. He's out there. He's already got it down to Duffus. He's going to make it first, or is Glenn Richards going to get out there first of all? It's Moody in front of Glenn Richards. Of course, Glenn Richards has all ridden out there. He's been out in the Superstocks race earlier today, so he might have some track knowledge. Although this time round, Steve Hislop sitting alongside me, it's dry.
Yeah, so lucky here. You know, it's dried up quick. And Jim's got that terrific start, which he's done at most of the opening laps this year since he started on the Yamaha. Jim is just riding on such a high. He's just trying to stamp his authority on this race straight away. That's a cracking start for Steve Brogan. I mean, this lad's been picked up and given the chance to prove himself on the Castle bike, and you know, he's taken to it like a duck to water by the looks of it.
Thoroughly nice man as well. So Moody, Richards, Thomas, Brogan, then it's Howard Whitby and Chris Vermeulen rounding out the top 6. No doubt about that. At the end of lap 2, it was 1.4 seconds. So Moody doubled his advantage over Glenn Richards at the end of the second lap. He's 0.7 of a second faster than anyone else on each lap.
I mean, Jim knows this place like the back of his hand. I mean, he cut his racing teeth up here, and the whole combination, his enthusiasm, he's highly charged at the moment. He's got a bike that's up at European spec, really. You know, this thing proved itself last week at Brands that he's up there, and I think Jim also loves the Pirelli tyres, so it's just the ultimate package at the moment, and I don't know what those other boys are going to have to do to beat him.
Well, they're going to have to wait for him to make a mistake, I would suggest, because that's about the only thing that's going to beat Jim Moody himself. So 21, Jim Moody flies through on the V&M Yamaha. Then it's 6, that's Dean Thomas, then 5, Glenn Richards. So Thomas in front of Richards now, and those two got their own battle for second place. And it's Brogan in 4th place, Howard Whitby 5th, Vermeulen in 6th place. McCarthy still down in 8th. Look at Moody, every inch of the track
It just looks like he's on a Sunday run, a nice cruise. You know, it's so smooth.
52.9 as well, so 52.9, that is so much, 3/10 under his own lap record. Jim Moody holds the lap record here on this class, and he's just absolutely annihilated it, and the track isn't even perfect yet.
Circuit conditions are still not up, you know, they're still not terrific. There'll still be a little dampness here and there.
That is Kirk McCarthy, the man who is 2nd in the championship, but only 8th in this race, with his main challenger, series leader Jim Moody, leading. So Jim Moody sits on 25 points.
I mean, you could see Kirk just physically fighting that bike through the last chicane there. So he's putting everything into this to try and bridge that gap. The last couple of rounds, the championship, it's come down to basically a fight between Jim Moody and Dean Thomas every round. It's almost as though Kirk McCarthy's just slightly losing the edge a little bit now as the season creeps on. This is going to become a real scrap for the final rostrum placing here, actually, because Steve Brugger's caught back up with Glenn Richards.
Out towards Butchers and up towards
Steve
the
up
chicane.
he was on the curve there on the exit of McIntyre's a little bit, but a very mature ride from him here.
And exiting good there, Glenn Richards as well. Got good drive, and it looked like Howard Whitby. Yes, I tell you what, I think there's a little bit of a mistake from Brogan. Unsettled him very slightly and found himself just swamped by Howard Whitby.
See, it's a whole new ball game riding with guys at this level. You know, he's now on a machine capable of being up front.
Straight back at it, no. I'll tell you what, there's not many men that outbreak Howard Whitby.
No, that's good. That's a good move there. But you know, every week this guy's been slightly back in the pack. Now he's on the machine capable of running at this level. And again, it's a big learning curve for him.
Oh, I tell you what, Glennie, you got that a bit hot.
He's running a bit hot there,
He's a
for
bit
sure.
wide there. Might have lost his drive. He did lose his drive big time there. So another little mistake, and he pays big time. Brogan goes through then. Now this is a chance for Steve Brogan to test his skill at leading. And he's got probably his brakes, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Here's Kurt McCarthy getting up the inside of Stuart Wickens. So Wickens is looking to his right. Oh, Kirk, block pass. Bit of a supercross there, I think. Wound him out wide and then got the drive back on.
Knockhill hairpin's a strange hairpin, and this is probably the first time for likes of Vermeulen and Kirk McCarthy here. So it's a big learning curve. It is a strange little corner, that.
I can't believe how uphill it is at the hairpin. You come crashing into it and then it's all uphill. I can't believe either how slippery it is.
I know. I can just picture the smile on Jack's face now. It'll just be, the big grin will just be forming now.
Well, of course, Jim Moody fell off in warm-up this morning. He drove out the end of pit lane to dump a dip and fell straight over. So maybe that fired him up. But no mistake this time. Jim Moody it is that takes round 8 of the Supersports easily. That really was quite boring because he was so good.
He made it look too easy.
Jim Moody then. Well, he has sponsorship to continue the entire year now with V&M. And you've got to say, with performances like that, who is going to get near Jim Moody for the championship?
28 laps at an average of 87.37 miles an hour on the V&M Yamaha. Dean Thomas, the first to congratulate Mr. Moody.
The second, no doubt, will be Jack Valentine from V&M. Dean Thomas then confirmed in second place. Steve Brogan a fine third there. Glennie Richards fourth. Howard Whitby